Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV in conjunction with Colfax High School presents Viking pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings girls game. And now, Viking pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN-TV studios. I'm Rick Olson and we're getting ready to bring you Colfax High School Viking girls basketball. Tonight, the 2-1 Colfax Vikings, who are 1-0 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference, are preparing to step out of conference play and take on the 2-1 Fall Creek Crickets from the Western Clover Belt Conference. Now this will be game number 6 of the Western Wisconsin Girls High School Basketball Classic. Now, game started at 8:30 this morning, and it has been a steady diet of basketball with teams from the Dunn St. Croix Conference squaring off against teams from the Clover Belt Conference. The Vikings are coming off a 54-27 win over the Boyceville Bulldogs, while Fall Creek is coming off a 78-16 win over the Thorpe Cardinals to open their conference season. The Crickets also played Stanley Boyd last night, and we hope to get you that score as today's game goes along. Now, coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Crickets and the Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Serrar's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Then we'll take a quick look around the Dunn St. Croix Conference to see how the DSC teams fared in their conference opener. Following that, we'll send it out to Colfax High School, where our broadcast crew will bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school girls basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on NLWN-TV.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where we're getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's girls basketball game between the Fall Creek Crickets and the 2-1 Colfax Vikings. The Vikings are coming off a 54-27 victory over the Boyceville Bulldogs on Thursday, while the Crickets took on the Stanley Boyd Orioles last night. We hope to have the results of that game during today's broadcast. Now, in that victory over Boyceville, the Vikings utilized their in-your-face defense to hold the Bulldogs down, finally pulling away throughout the second half. Leading the way for the Vikings in that effort was senior guard Kason Goodell, who hit on 7 field goals, including 2 3-pointers, plus going 2 for 4 from the free throw line for 18 points. Out to Goodell, 3-pointer. She hit the 3 points. She was followed by junior guard Sierra Shipman, who shot 4 from the floor, including 2 3-pointers, as well as 3 for 5 from the charity stripe for 13 points. Pass down to Shipman. She lays it up and in. That one almost didn't crawl over the rim.
11 points for Sierra.
As well as junior guard Jordan Bovey, who hit on 5 field goals and a free throw for 11 points. Save it in, but the Vikings get it. Bovey lays it up and puts it in.
7 points for Bovey.
Now tonight the Vikings are taking on the Fall Creek Crickets. Last season the Crickets swept the Vikings by scores of 64-40 during the regular season and 57-38 in the WIAA regionals. Now, we haven't been able to find out much about the Crickets other than they returned 7 players from last season's roster that took the Crickets to the WIAA sectional finals. That includes some significant contributors like seniors Kennedy Toom and Gracie Martin, as well as junior Jasmine Hewer. Now, coming into last night, the Crickets were sporting a record of 2-1 overall, with 1-0 in the Western Clover Belt Conference. Last night, Fall Creek took on the Stanley Boyd Orioles, and we hope to have that score for you during today's game. Now, up until last night, the Crickets had been averaging 57 points per game while giving up an average of 43. Now, the Vikings so far this season are being led in scoring by Jordan Bovey, who's averaging 17 points per game. She's being followed by Kaysen Goodell and Sierra Shipman, who are averaging 14 and nearly 11 points per game, respectively. On the boards, Shipman is leading the way, pulling down nearly 10 rebounds per game, followed by Goodell, who's grabbing 8. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Courtney Serrar on Coach's Corner. Now, you're tuned to Viking Pregame on NLWN-TV.
You need some help?
Your toe chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, what they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
All right, once again, we're talking with Viking girls head coach Courtney Serrar on Coach's Corner. And coach, in just a few minutes, the Vikings will be preparing to take on the Fall Creek Crickets in Game 6 of the Western Wisconsin Girls High School Basketball Classic. But before we get to that game, back on Thursday, the Vikings opened their conference schedule on the winning track with a 54-27 win over the Boyceville Bulldogs. Your comments about that game?
Yeah, I think it was a really good win for us to start conference play. I was really impressed with our defense, even in the first half. They only scored 17 first half, only scored 10 second half. The huge difference was we were just able to make more shots in the first half. We got way more shots than they did. We forced almost 25 turnovers. It was a good team effort. We had a really balanced scoring attack with Kaysen and having 18 and Sierra 13, Jordy 11, and then Bryn had 7. And just a lot of great moments too from other kids. Clara led us in assists. So it was just a good team win.
Now, in that game, you already alluded to it a little bit, the Vikings demonstrated what really has become a tradition in Colfax with their in-your-face defense, completely shutting down the baseline, as well as pretty much turning off the middle to the Bulldogs and even putting a wall across the mid-court line. Could you comment about the Viking defense?
Yeah, in the first half, they were able to get some rebounds that allowed them to have some second chance opportunities. So I asked us to clean that, up at halftime. And, they scored their 17th point, I think, with like maybe a minute or 2 minutes left in the first half. And then they did not score again until 9 minutes to go in the game. So anytime you can, hold a team from scoring for that amount of time, it's impressive. And they just work really hard, and they take pride in their own individual defenses as well as contributing to the team, and that's what you need, is kids who just buy into what you're asking, and they all do that, and they all help each other and build each other up, and it's good to see.
Now, in addition to the Viking defense in that game, the Vikings also had 6 girls contribute to the scoring, with 3 hitting in double digits. There seems to be a couple more players who are just on the edge of contributing to the scoring. If you could talk a little about the scoring balance on this team.
Yeah, I don't pay much attention to who leads us in scoring, because that is my least favorite statistic. Yeah, points are important, but everything else is way more important. If you don't score off of, if your teammate doesn't give you a great pass, if we can't secure the defensive rebound, we don't get to be on offense. So there's a lot of things that go into scoring points. I tend to focus a lot more on who's diving on the floor, who's making the great passes, who's taking a charge. We call those our applaud plays. And to me, those are way more important than who's putting up points in the box score. And, like I said, yeah, we have to put points on the board, but it really, truly is a team effort. as far as, and I know that, we've had a different kid lead us in scoring multiple nights, and that's good. They understand too that, it's going to be, it could be someone different every night, and I hope it is. And that's great for our team balance and team chemistry, and they just want to win. They'll do whatever it takes to do that, whether, if it's giving up, points, they do that. If it's making points, they'll do that too. So.
Well, all of those things that you mentioned are, in fact, points. They just don't get recorded in the scorebook because, as you said, you can't score the points in the scorebook if you don't have the good pass, the good defense, and so on. Now, tonight, the Vikings are taking on the Fall Creek Crickets, who come out of the Western Clover Belt Conference. What can you tell us about the Crickets and the challenges that they present?
Yeah, they're a really good team who returned, everybody almost from their roster of last year, and they made it to, the sectional semifinal. So they're definitely one of the favorited teams in our sectional this year again. They have a lot of kids who have been around for a long time and understand, and they play really hard, and they're well coached. So we definitely have our work cut out for us. Like I always believe that we can play with the best of the best, but it's definitely going to take, an on night for us. We can't afford to have, careless turnovers or, get out rebounded, that kind of thing.
Now, we haven't been able to find out a whole lot of information about the Crickets other than going into the weekend, they're 2-1 or 3-1, something like that. Fill us in if there are any cricket players that we should keep an eye out for.
Yeah, they have quite a few kids on their roster that I enjoy watching playing. And they're obviously led by their two stars in the Kennedy Tomb and Jasmine Hewer, but they have a lot of really great role kids who have stepped up too that can shoot the ball. So I think similar to us, they are capable of having a different kid lead them in scoring every single night. So yeah, it'll be a fun game to watch.
Well, this sounds like it could be a lot of fun. Coach Sarrar, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully, the Vikings can, in addition to hosting the Basketball Classic, come away with a victory.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, with a look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Remember the best planned 90 minutes of your life? Or that surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Welcome back to Viking pregame. The teams of the Dunn St. Croix Conference are stepping out of conference play today to compete in the Western Wisconsin Girls Basketball Classic at Colfax High School. Taking a look at the most recent action involving conference teams, on Thursday we find the Vikings defeating the Boyceville Bulldogs 54-27. The Elk Mound Mounders topped the Durand, Arkansas Panthers 48-34, while the Spring Valley Cardinals bested the Glenwood City Hilltoppers 56-40, and the Elmwood Plum City Wolves were defeated by the Mondovi Buffaloes 64-18. Now, today has been a solid day of basketball involving teams from the Dunn St. Croix Conference taking on teams from the Clover Belt Conference. This morning at 8:30, the Boyceville Bulldogs gave us a basketball breakfast when they faced the Osseo Fairchild Thunder. Then in Game 2, the Elmwood Plum City Wolves took on the Stanley Boyd Orioles. Game 3 saw the Spring Valley Cardinals facing the Cadott Hornets. And in Game 4, the Mondovi Buffaloes took on the Bloomer Blackhawks. Then in the game right before our game, it was the Glenwood City Hilltoppers facing the Thorpe Cardinals. We'll have scores for you on those games during tonight's Viking cricket game. Now, following our game, it will be the Durand, Arkansas Panthers taking on the Regis Ramblers, and then wrapping up this evening, we'll see the McDonald Central Max battling with the Elk Mound Mounders. Tonight, the Vikings are getting ready to take on the Fall Creek Crickets. The Vikings are hoping to continue the momentum developed with their big win on Thursday, and it will take that type of an effort tonight against the Crickets. Meanwhile, the Crickets would like to take that next step, the one that they missed last season, and make a run for the WIAA state tournament. And tonight's game is just another stop on that path. So the stage is set for some exciting girls high school basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on NLWN-TV. Now in just a moment, I'll join our broadcast crew at Colfax High School as we bring you all the action of tonight's girls game between the Colfax Vikings and the Fall Creek Crickets. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on NLWN-TV.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Vikings girls game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball.
It happens to everyone eventually. Your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Sladen's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Sladen's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Sladen's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Sladen's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Colfax Viking girls basketball is on the air.
Back over to Sierra Shipman. She spins at the top of the key, takes it into the lane, lays it up and puts it in. Sierra Shipman with her first 2 points of the night.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network, along with NLWN-TV, is excited to bring you Colfax High School girls basketball.
Then over to the left side to Jordan, lays it up and puts it in.
Join us as we follow the Vikings as they battle their way through the Dun St. Croix Conference.
To Goodell from three, she'd hit the three!
And now, out to the gym for today's Colfax Viking basketball.
Good afternoon from Colfax High School. Rick Olson along with Dan Petschow. Cameron Rickoff on the camera tonight. And we're getting ready to bring you game number 6 of the Western Wisconsin Girls High School Basketball Classic here at Colfax High School between the Colfax Vikings and the Fall Creek Crickets. And in case the camera starts to wander a little bit towards the Fall Creek side, we got to mention, in all fairness, Cameron is from Fall Creek. So I guess if he focuses on those girls a little, it's to be excused. Well, we're getting a big grin out of Cameron over there. This is our second broadcast on the Northern Light Webcasting Network today. Our sister station, NLWN-2, brought you the Colfax boys at the Northwest Tip-Off Classic over at UW Stout as they dropped a heartbreaker today to the Clear Lake Warriors by a score of 60-59. And folks, young players, practice those free throws, because had the Vikings maybe done a little bit more of that, that could have made a big difference in that game. But nonetheless, it was a thriller all the way down to the end. We've got the Vikings taking on the Fall Creek Crickets, and like I said, this is game number 6 of the Western Wisconsin High School Girls Basketball Classic. Action today got started at 8:30 this morning when the Boyceville Bulldogs took on the Osteo Fairchild, the Thunder, and Boyceville came out on top 56-46. Then it was the Stanley Boyd Orioles topping the Elmwood Plum City Wolves 57-26. At noon, it was the Spring Valley Cardinals defeating Cadott 52-38. And then at 1:45, it was Bloomer on top of Mondovi 57-36. Then in the game that just concluded, the Glenwood City Hilltoppers defeated the Thorpe Cardinals 66-33. Following the Viking game, if you're in the Colfax area, this would be a couple good games coming up after the Viking game today. We have the Durand, Arkansas Panthers taking on the Regis Ramblers. And following that, the McDonald Central Max are facing the Elk Mound Mounders. And those are a couple of really big-time matchups. In fact, these last three games have the earmarks of being serious big-time basketball games for high school girls. Dan, going into this one, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Fall Creek's probably got a little bit of an edge today. Colfax got some new players this year, but Colfax play a little defense and try to get some quick points on transition. They can stay in this one. I think, yeah, Fall Creek's got some good ball handlers that are going to move the ball and get easy points. So,
however, if Colfax puts forth the effort that they put out against Boyceville, and come with that kind of energy, they're going to be okay tonight.
Yeah, I'd like to see Colfax, maybe a couple other girls start to get some points, you know, get a little more confidence. And instead of having 4 or 5 girls score, we get 6 or 7 score, and that'll make a big difference.
Well, we are just about ready for the starting lineups. And since our crowd mic is giving us grief, we're going to follow it with the announcement that they make from the from Mike Hodell, the athletic director here at Colfax High School. And we'll start with the Fall Creek Crickets. Yes. Okay, so here are the starters for the Fall Creek Crickets. Number 10, Kennedy Tum. She's a senior. Then senior number 20, Anna Doherty. Senior number 22, Addie Haynes. Senior number 24, Sophie Schmigdahl. And junior number 44, Jasmine Hoyer. For the Vikings, senior Kason Goodell, number 4. Then junior Jordan Bovey. A junior Sierra Shipman. A junior Bryn Sikora. And junior Clara Hajdukovic. The Fall Creek Crickets are being coached by Jason Martsky. And the Vikings, of course, by Courtney Serrar. We're waiting for both teams to come back out on the floor. Crickets are coming out. Jumping center for the Crickets is going to be Jasmine Hoyer. And Clara Hajdukovic for the Vikings. Ball goes up. Tip is controlled by the Crickets. Haynes with it. And she dishes it off to Tum. And then over to the far side to Hayes. To the near side to Doherty. And then down to Tum. She takes it out to the top of the key, feeds it down underneath the Hoyer, who put it up and in. I checked that. That was Schmigdahl, who put it up and in. Full court pressure being put on the Vikings by the Crickets, and they get it across the floor. Bovey on the dribble. She gets it down underneath, and now they kick it back out to Bovey, to Goodell. Goodell between the circles, taking it over to the right side. She's on the right wing. Back out to the top of the key to Bovey. Then to Sikora. Sikora down along the baseline. Ball gets knocked loose. Coming out of there is Shipman to Hajdukovic. Feeding it off to Goodell. Puts it up and it's no good. Rebound goes to the Crickets. Hoyer brings it down the floor. Stops between the circles. Feeds it off to the left side. That's Doherty putting up the three. No. Rebound taken down by Schmigdahl. Shot goes up by Tum. It's no good. Rebound to the Vikings. Goodell to bring it down the floor. Hajdukovic with it at the top of the key. Feeding it down underneath, and they get it out to Sikora, to Goodell. Goodell from in the lane. She put it up, and we get a whistle and a foul. Falls on Kennedy Tum. It's going to be her first team foul on the Crickets. So the Vikings to inbound. Bryn Sikora puts it up and in. Takes that inbound pass, lays it up, and puts it in, ties the game at 2. Tum with it, feeds it off to the left side. That's Haynes. Haynes drives down towards the lane, kicks it back out to Schmigdahl. Out to the top of the key to Hoyer. And then over to Tum. Tum to Schmigdahl from the top of the key. 3-pointers, nothing but net. 5-2, Crickets on top. Down the floor come the Vikings. Goodell with it. Gets it to Hajdukovic, to Sikora. To Goodell from the right corner. Back out to the top of the key to Shipman, to Hajdukovic. Then to Bovey over on the left side. Gets it to the top of the key to Shipman. Feeds it back out to Sikora. She puts up 3 and puts it in. Bryn Sikora with 5 points on the night. Kennedy Tum with it. Feeds it off to the right side. That's to Doherty. Doherty out to Hoyer. Hoyer drives the lane. She took a step too many, I believe. No, they called a foul.
I think it's on number 30.
Foul's on Shipman. It'll be her first team foul on the Vikings. And it's going to send Jasmine Hoyer to the line. First shot is up. No good. Second shot on the way. That one's good. Fall Creek takes a 6-5 lead. Bryn Sikora on the dribble. Splits a couple of players. Gets it into the forecourt. Feeds it down underneath to Shipman, who puts it up and in. And the Vikings go on top 7-6. Fall Creek with the ball as they get it to Schmigdahl, to Tum. The shot is no good, and coming down the floor is Goodell, and she lays it up and in. 9-6, Vikings on top. Here comes Kennedy Tum quickly back down the floor. Feeds it over to the left side. That's Haynes. Then down in the corner to Tum. Tum takes it back out to the free throw line, kicks it off to the right side. Shot goes up, no good. That was by Doherty, and we have a whistle, and it's out of bounds off the Crickets.
We got a foul. Number 24 for the Fall Creek.
That's Sophie Schmigdahl. Long pass, a little bit too far out of the reach of Sikora. Or check that, out of the reach of Shipman.
Yeah, that would have been a quick 2 points there. Just a little too far.
Pass comes in to Hoyer. Over to Schmigdahl, back to Hoyer, puts up the 3. It's off the back of the iron. Rebound taken down by the Vikings. Case and Goodell across the timeline. Stops at the lane, kicks it back out. 3-pointer on the way, and it's good. Bryn Sikora hits another three. 8 points for her and a timeout on the floor as you're tuned to Viking basketball on NLWN TV.
As you check names off your gift-giving list, Dairy State Bank encourages you to shop local as much as possible. The reasons are countless. For example, local businesses create 2 out of every 3 new jobs in the U.S. each year. There are times you could save a few cents by ordering online, but when you shop at a local store, you could be saving your community. Shop local for the holidays. It's more important than ever. Dairy State Bank. Banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Back here at Colfax High School, Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow, Cameron Rickoff on the camera. And the Vikings have a 12-6 lead over the Fall Creek Crickets. 13:53 remaining in half number 1. Kennedy Tum with the ball. And down the floor she brings it. Feeds it off to the right side. And now back out to the top of the key to Schmigdahl, to Tum on the left. Feeds it into Schmigdahl, but it got tipped away by the Vikings. And Goodell comes down the floor. Feeds it down underneath to Hajdukovic, who kicks it back out to Shipman. Puts up the three, and she hit it. Sierra Shipman with the three. 15-6, Vikings on top. Haynes on the dribble on the left side. Gets it back out to Hoyer. She lays it up and got fouled on the way in. Foul is going to be on Klara Hajdukovic. Her first. Second team foul on the Vikings. Free throw is up and good by Hoyer. Second shot is up. That one's also good. 15-8, Vikings on top. Bovey feeds it back to Sikora. Sikora between the circles, gets it over to Goodell on the right side. Goodell at the elbow. Feeds it to Sikora, tries to drive into the lane. Ball got tipped away and out of bounds, but last touched by the Crickets. Bovey to inbound. Feeding it into the lanes. Shipman lays it up and in.
Yeah, good backdoor by Sierra.
Long pass down the floor. Schmigdahl puts it up and in, and a blocking foul. Going to be called on Bovey.
Yeah, Bovey was just a little too far under the hoop.
So count the basket. Makes it 17-10. Into the lineup is Layla Hurlbert for the Vikings. Shot is on the way, and that one's also good. 17-11, Vikings on top. Goodell between the circles. Takes it over to the right side. Now feeds it to the side of the lane. Trying to go up and getting tied up that time is Lyric Nichols. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. Nichols looking to inbound. Feeds it in to Sikora. Sikora with an 8-footer, puts it up and in.
Brent Sikora's got 10 points.
Crickets feed it off to the left side. That's Haynes. She puts it up. Basket's good. And she drew the foul. And I believe the foul is on Nichols. It is. It's her first. Fourth team foul on the Vikings. Haynes' shot is good. 19-14, Vikings on top. Goodell with the ball between the circles. Feeds it to Hurlburt, who gets it out to to Shipman. To Goodell, to Nichols, back to Goodell. Goodell drives into the lane, puts it up, and draws the foul. It's going to be a foul on Kennedy Tum, and it'll be her second, I believe. That's the third team foul on Fall Creek. Shot is on the way, and it's good. Clara Hajdukovic back into the lineup for the Vikings. Second shot on the way. That one's good. Vikings up by 7 as the Crickets bring the ball down the floor. They have it over on the right side. That's Doherty. She feeds it down low. That's to Stirs. Now back out and to the left side. Doherty, then over to Stirs, and then they swing it around to the right side. Hoyer, shot is up, no good. Rebound taken out by the Crickets. And they feed it back out high to Hoyer, and then they feed it out to the wing to Doherty. Doherty still on the dribble. And now they swing it back around to the top of the key. Stirs on the ball. Gets it over to Schmigdahl. To Hoyer, three-pointer on the way, and she hit it. That was a pancake of a three, but it found its way through. Goodell drives the lane, puts it up. It got fouled going in. I think it's going to be on Hoyer. Nope, I take it back.
Is that on Tom?
I think it might be.
Nope, 20.
Nope. The official was kind of sideways to us. Yeah. Couldn't tell if he was holding up one or two fingers. And the shot is up, and it's good by Goodell. That foul, by the way, was on Anna Doherty. It's her first. Fourth team foul. Second shot is on the way. It's good. 23-17. Vikings on top. Stirs with it. Gets it out to Doherty. Doherty on the dribble between the circles. Over to Stirs. Then over to Haynes on the right side. Turnaround jumper's no good by Schmigdahl. And the rebound comes down to the Vikings. Sikora feeding it over to the left side. To Shipman. And then to Hajdukovic. To Goodell. And then over to Shipman on the right wing. Back out top of the key. To Sikora, puts up the three. No good. Loose change chased down by the Crickets. And down the floor they come. Stirs with it. Tries to get to the lane. Puts it to Schmigdahl, who gets it to crawl over the rim and go in. Vikings up by 4. 23-19. 9:58 to go. Shot is partially blocked, and coming away with it are the Crickets. Quickly down the floor, feeding it out to Stirs. Puts up the three. She hit it. Becca Stirs with a three-point shot. Cuts the Viking lead to 1. Bovey putting up a shot. It's off the mark, and coming away is Hoyer. She's got it between the circles. It's at the top of the key. Feeds it out, and now Stirs has it. Thought about the three. Now drives to the lane. Back out to Schmigdahl. To Hoyer. Her shot is no good. Rebound. Tied up. Jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of the Crickets. Dan, I tell you, that time on that rebound, I think Clara was just being a little bit too nice.
Yeah, she's got to be a little more scrappy.
Grab that ball like somebody's trying to take money from you. Shot comes up short, and it's tipped, and it's going to be Viking ball. So Bryn Sikora inbound. to Goodell, and she brings it down the floor. Right through the center circle. Over to the right side to Shipman. Shipman back out high to Hurlbert. And then losing the handle is Bovey, and here goes Stirs on a solo flight. She puts it in. 24-23, Fall Creek with the lead. Goodell on the dribble. On the right side. Takes it to the free throw line. Jump shot from there. It's partially blocked, and here come the Crickets back down the floor. Now they feed it over to the left corner. Now back out high. That's Hoyer. Feeding it into the lane to Schmigdahl, to Stirs on the right side. She drives down to the baseline, puts it up, and the Vikings come away with it. Goodell quickly down the floor, drives into the lane, lays it up, and puts it in. Vikings back on top, 25-24.
8 points for Goodell.
Stirs with it on the right side. Gets it up to Schmigdahl. Then over to Hoyer. Hoyer drives into the lane, puts it up, and it's good. And we're going to get a foul. Foul's going to be on Shipman, I believe. It is. It's her second. 15 foul on the Vikings. And it's going to put Hoyer to the line for one, for the +1. Nichols coming in for the Vikings, giving Shipman a break. And the free throw is up and good. What are they on their free throws? It's got to be pretty deadly.
1, 2, 3, 6 for 7.
That's pretty deadly. Vikings have the ball between the circles. This is Bovey on the dribble. She feeds it to Sikora on the right side. Sikora drives the right baseline, tries to feed it into the lane, and it's intercepted by the Crickets. They get it out to Hoyer. She drives down, lays it up, and puts it in. 29-25, Crickets up by 4.
11 points for Hoyer.
They're feeding it into the lane, and again it's intercepted. Hoyer with it. And she lays it up and in. And the Vikings want to talk it over. 31-25. Crickets on top. 6:49 to go. And you're tuned to Viking basketball on NLWN-TV.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
To get your lawn or garden to perform at attracting what you want, you first need to know what your soil is working with. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, serving Western Wisconsin.
Back here at Colfax High School, Fall Creek Crickets with a 31-25 lead over the Vikings. 6:49 to go in half number 1. Case and Goodell on the dribble for the Vikings. Takes it over to the left side, gets it to Bovey, then to Nichols. Nichols, double teamed out there, gets it back out to Goodell. Goodell at the top of the key. Feeds it off to Bovey, drives into the lane, turns around, puts the shot up. It won't go down for her. And down the floor come the Crickets. This is Hoyer. Tries to put it up. It's partially blocked. And Nichols comes away with the rebound. Goodell to bring it down the floor. They feed it off to Nichols and out to Goodell. Three-pointer on the way short. And it's tied up. And we're going to get a jump ball. It was tied up as both girls went out of bounds. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. Sikora with it. Takes it out high, wide, and right. Hands it off to Goodell. Between the circles, comes down the lane, tries to lay it up, and she got fouled going up. And that's going to be a foul on Mariah Sloop. So that'll be her first. Fourth team foul on the Crickets. Hasten Goodell with the free throw, and it's good. Second shot on the way. That one's good.
Kaysen is 6 for 6 from the free throw line so far.
We needed every one of them, too. Stirs with the ball, tries to feed it. Ball gets tipped by Goodell, but right into the hands of Hoyer. Then over to Haynes, who puts it up, and it's no good, and then gets knocked out of bounds, and it goes to the Crickets. So Haynes inbounds it to Hoyer, over to Stirs. Back to Hoyer on the right side, drives towards the lane, puts it up and puts it in. Hoyer doesn't miss.
Hoyer's 15 points.
Goodell on the dribble, gets it over to Hurlbert. Off to Sikora, puts up the three. It's way off. And the rebound gets tied up, and it's a jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of the Crickets. Hanukovic comes into the lineup for the Vikings. As the Crickets bring the ball down, Stirs on the dribble, feeds it over to the right side, now back to the left. And down in the corner is Doherty. She brings it back out high to Hoyer at the top of the key. Then to Sloop, who puts the shot up, and it's good. Foot was on the line, so it's only two. 33-27. And Goodell on the dribble for the Vikings. Feeds it over to Bovey. Then down in the corner to Sikora. Tries to lob pass it into Hajdukovic, but it was a little bit long. Pass underneath. Shot goes up, and it won't go down. Rebound by the Vikings. That was Haynes with the attempted layup. Here's Goodell driving in, puts it up. It doesn't go. And we're going to get a foul called on Hajdukovic as Doherty was trying to outlet the ball. That's a second foul on Hajdukovic, 16th foul. So from this point on, the Crickets will be in the bonus. Stirs on the dribble. Takes it over to the right side. Feeds it to Doherty. Doherty back out high to Hoyer. Hoyer driving the lane, spins in the middle, puts it up and banks it home. (37-27). Crickets have opened up a 10-point lead. Shipman brings it down into the lane, then feeds it off to Goodell, or not to Goodell, but to Nichols. And she did a double dribble before she passed it over. Or Nichols did the double dribble before she shot.
Yeah, she just kind of lost the ball. It wasn't really a intentional one. It just happened.
So Stirs turns, lays it up, and it goes in for the Crickets. 39-27, Fall Creek on top. The Vikings try to feed it into the lane. We're going to get a whistle and a foul.
We got a foul in 30.
And Foul is going to be on Becca Sturs. It's her first, 6th team foul on the Crickets. So from this point on, the Vikings will be in the bonus. Bovey with it on the left side. Now they feed it down to the baseline to Shipman, who puts it up and in. 39-29. Vikings trailing by 10. Crickets with the ball. Doherty, and she feeds it out high, and they get it over to Hewer, or to Hoyer, I should say, who takes it into the lane. She's tied up in there, and we get a jump ball called.
Yeah, good job by the Colfax defense.
Case and Goodell got in there and got the hands in there and wrapped around. She brings the ball down the floor. Coming up on 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Bovey with it. Feeds it over to Nichols. Back to Bovey. Bovey's pass intended for Sikora gets intercepted by Hoyer, and we're going to get a foul.
Looks like a
as
number
she was
4.
trying to knock the ball away. Fouls on Goodell. It's her first, but it's the 7th foul on the Vikings, so it's going to send Hoyer to the line for the 1-on-1. First shot's up, and it's good. Second shot on the way. It's off the back of the air. No good. Rebound taken down by Schmigdahl. Gets it out to Hoyer. Back to Schmigdahl. In the lane. Turns around. Banks it off the glass and in. 42-29. Goodell with it. Almost lost the handle. Gets it out to Nichols. Nichols back to Goodell. She's on the left wing. Takes it back out to the top of the key. Driving down the left side, lays it up, puts it in. Case and Goodell with a dozen points. Hoyer feeds it down underneath the Doherty. Shots up, no good. Rebound, batted around. And we're going to get a whistle and a held ball. Possession arrow in favor of the Crickets. Pass comes in, and Schmigdahl has it. Gets it out to Sturs. Over to Doherty on the right side. Back to Schmigdahl. Drives into the lane. Jumper from there and puts it in. 44-31. Crickets on top. Vikings feed it over to the left side. Now Nichols has it at the top of the key. To Goodell from the left elbow, then kicks it back out. Shipman puts up the 3. It's no good. And it's out of bounds. Last touch by Bovey. Minute 6 remaining in the first half. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, our Viking profile will be Sierra Shipman. Crickets bring the ball down the floor. Sturs with it. Feeds it into the lane to Schmigdahl. Turns, and we're going to get a travel call. She hopped a little too much that time.
Yeah, trying to split the defense. Good defense by Colfax.
We're under a minute to go in the first half. Case and Goodell on the dribble. Shipman to Sikora.
They'll probably play for 1.
Sikora backs it out between the circles. Gets it over to Goodell. Goodell had a wide open path. The ball got knocked loose, but then it got back out to Sikora, who puts up a 2-pointer. 44-33. Vikings cut it to 11. Sturs with it in the center circle. Feeds it over to the right side. This is Hoyer. 8 seconds remaining. Hoyer drives down the side of the lane, turns around, puts it up. It's no good. Rebound taken down by the Vikings, and that's the end of the first half. With the score, the Fall Creek Crickets 33, or check that, Fall Creek Crickets 44, Colfax Vikings 33, and we will be back with halftime programming right after this timeout on NLWN-TV. Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
C&K Construction is your source for high-quality concrete and construction work in the Chippewa Valley. Established in 2014, C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls is a leading concrete contractor proud to serve Eau Claire, Altoona, Menominee, and surrounding areas. Specializing in concrete construction, excavating, flatwork poured walls, and much more, they're right for all of your concrete needs. Call C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls at 715-559-1335.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
Time now for Viking Halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Okay, today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Sierra Shipman. And Sierra, you're a junior here at Colfax?
Yep.
And we know that you play basketball, but are there any other activities that you've been involved with here at school?
I do volleyball and softball.
Okay, and how'd the volleyball season go for you?
Pretty good.
And how about last year's softball season?
Good.
Yeah. Pretty decent softball team last year, right?
Yeah.
You guys did well. When did you start playing basketball, and what kind of an experience has that been for you?
I started playing in second grade, and it's been good.
Okay, and what's the most important thing that you've learned from playing basketball?
But you just have to stay positive.
All right. Yeah, because the negative, it's going to drag you down.
Yeah.
All right. So when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you busy or occupied?
I like to hang out with my friends and family.
Okay. All right. All right. Now you know this is coming. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Ice cream.
Which kind?
Probably mint chocolate chip.
Ooh, one of my favorites too. That's a good choice, especially with the holidays and everything. And yeah, hot dog, burger, or brats?
Hot dog.
And what do you want on that dog?
Ketchup.
Just ketchup. Okay. Favorite color and why?
Probably just light purple. I just like it.
Okay. All right. Now, if Sierra had a superpower, what do you think that might be and why?
I'd probably read other people's minds.
Ooh, good thought.
Yeah.
Get that? Good thought. Okay, and if you had the ability to read minds, of course you have to have a superhero name to go with that superpower. What's Sierra's superhero name?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Work on that one. Okay. Next year when you're a senior and we're doing this again, I expect an answer from you. Okay. All right. Favorite NBA or WNBA team?
Probably the Bucks.
All right. How about his favorite collegiate team?
I don't know. I don't have one.
Okay. If you could sit down with any sports personality from any sport, any time in history, whether it's a player or a coach, whatever, and pick their brain, who do you think that might be and why?
Probably Caitlin Clark. I don't know. I just like her.
Okay, and she'd probably be the easiest of them to get a hold of now.
Yeah.
Because she's pretty recent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're talking with Sierra Shipman today on Viking Profile. And Sierra, what are your plans for after high school?
I don't know yet.
Haven't decided?
Nope.
You still got time. You're a junior. Okay. How about a shout out to the family?
Yeah, shout out to my family for coming to watch.
They come almost every game, don't they?
Yeah.
They're always there. When people watch Viking games, where should they look for you on the floor?
I'll be at number 3.
And for those people that don't go by the numbers and go by the old-fashioned positions, what would that be?
Probably like a shooting guard.
Okay.
Just like, yeah.
All right, so your job is put the ball in the hole.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, okay. We want to thank Sierra Shipman for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Losing the fear of looking foolish comes with age.
Who did you steal him from?
Losing your way in your own home doesn't. Confusion with time and place may be a sign of Alzheimer's.
Mom, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's Viking game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy taught him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling, like when you feel happy. Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it out. Love your mind.
And welcome back to Colfax High School, where the Vikings are trailing the Fall Creek Crickets 44-33. Getting ready to start the second half. Dan, why don't you run through those numbers that got us to that score?
Yeah, here's the scores right now for the Fall Creek Crickets. They're led right now by number 44, Jasmine Hoyer. She has 18 points. Followed by Sophie Schmickdahl. She has 14. We have Addie Haynes with 3. Becca Sturz with 7. And Mariah Sloop with 2. For the Vikings, they're led right now by 2 players. Number 4, Kason Goodell, and number 34, Bryn Zakora. They both have 12 points. And number 30 has Sierra Shipman has 9 points. 44-33, Fall Creek.
And the one player who has been cold, who has been leading the Vikings so far this year in scoring, has been Jordan Bovey. She's got the goose egg after her number today, and so hopefully she catches fire in the second half.
Yeah, I noticed that she's been covered pretty tight, but good job by Bryn Zakora to kind of pick up that extra slack. You know, right now, there's always that one little dark horse at every game, and right now it's Bryn Zakora.
And we were talking during halftime about Jasmine Hoyer. I think her arms are 12 feet long. It didn't matter what the Vikings tried to do to feed it into the lane, and Hoyer got a hand on it.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they throw number 32, Mariah Sloop, and that even left Hoyer even more open.
So we're about ready to start the second half. Vikings should have the ball to begin half number 2. And the Vikings will be traveling from right to left. Vikings in their red uniforms today with white numerals and letters. Crickets in white with green numbers and letters trimmed in black. And Case and Goodell dribbles the ball across the timeline, feeds it off to Shipman, to Bovee, to Sikora. Sikora squares up, feeds it down to Shipman, back out to Sikora. Sikora over on the right corner feeds it to Bovee, puts it up and puts it in. There we go. Jordan Bovee with a couple points.
Yeah, good backdoor cut.
Doherty with it. Feeds it over to Hoyer on the left side. To Schmigdahl at the top of the key. To Tum. Now over to Doherty, puts up the 3. No. And the rebound taken down by Shipman, gives it off to Goodell, and down the floor come the Vikings. Feeding it off to Bovee on the left corner. Gets it back out high to Sikora, to Hajdukovic, to Goodell, to Bovee, to Sikora. Sikora cross court over to Hajdukovic on the right elbow. She drives down, and she's going to get called for a double dribble.
Yeah, good defense there by number 24, Sophie Schminkdahl.
I think Clara tried to split the defense and brought the hand up to steer the ball, and ended up putting 2 hands on the ball, which, of course, is a double dribble. So Tum with it. Hands it off to Haynes. Then out to Doherty. Doherty drives into the lane, puts it up. It doesn't go. Rebound. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul. And I think the foul is on Addie Haynes. It is. It's her first team foul on the Crickets in the second half. Goodell to bring it down the floor for the Vikings. Payson Goodell feeds it over to Sikora, puts it up. No. And catching the ball with her foot on the baseline was Bovee. So the ball goes over to the Crickets. Shipman's shot was just a little short. So the Crickets bring the ball down. Hoyer with it in the left corner, tries to feed it to Tum, and the pass goes through her hands. Vikings with it. Bovee with the layup, puts it up. She overlaid it, and we're going to get 2 shots because Hoyer raced down there, and actually it was a smart foul by Hoyer because otherwise it's an easy layup. That's the first foul on Hoyer. Second team foul.
Yeah, for the tallest girl for cricket, she got back the fastest.
And the first free throw is good for Jordan Bovee. Second shot on the way. That one's good. 44-37, Vikings trailing. And the Vikings steal it, and then it gets knocked out of bounds. And we have a discussion by the officials, and they're going to give it to Fall Creek.
Yeah, I don't know about that because I think Colfax players out of, or Fall Creek players out of bounds when she touched it.
I think you're right.
It wasn't a inbound play.
Unfortunately, we don't have instant replay. Tum with the ball on the right side. Gets it out to Schmigdahl, to Hoyer. Hoyer dribbles around on the right side and then gets it across court over to Doherty, to Hoyer. Hoyer at the edge of the lane gets it out to Tum, puts up the shot, no good. Rebound taken down by the Vikings. Goodell on the dribble, takes it right through the traffic into the lane, lays it up, does not get it to go. And down the floor and throwing it just a little out of her reach. Come the Crickets, and the Vikings will get the ball. That pass was just a little out of the reach of Haynes. She couldn't catch up to it, and the Vikings received the benefit. Bovey with it, takes it to the free throw line, feeds it out to Hajdukovic. Then over to the left side to Sikora. Back out to the top of the key to Bovey. Bovey takes it over to the right side. Closely guarded there by Tum, and gets it over to Goodell. To Sikora. Sikora at the elbow on the left side. Over to Goodell. Shots no good. Tum with the ball. Feeds it down the right side. This is Doherty. Puts the shot up. It's no good. Rebound taken down by Shipman. Gets it to Bovey. Bovey puts on a move, and she got fouled going in. She kind of sacrificed herself that time, I think, knowing she was going to draw the foul. She's going to go to the line for two.
Foul's at number 10.
That's a third foul on Tum. First shot is up and good. (44-38). Vikings have cut the lead to 6. Now the shot's up, and that one's no good. Rebound by Hoyer. Brings it across the timeline. Stops at the top of the key, gets it over to Sturz on the right side. Back out to Hoyer, three-pointer on the way. No, rebound, tipped around, and it's going to be Viking ball. Last touched underneath there by Sophie Schmigdahl, and we have a timeout on the floor. 13:59 remaining. It's 44-39 in favor of the Crickets, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on NLWN-TV.
Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax has just what you need when you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it. Mom's is open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily and until 9 on Fridays with a complete breakfast menu. Lunch includes sandwiches, salads, wraps, and burgers, along with Mom's comfort food favorites, and don't forget dinner on Fridays with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee always hot, the breakfast always delicious, and lunch puts a smile on your face. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax.
Back here at Colfax High School, Vikings have cut the lead to 6, and they have the ball on the baseline. Sikora gets it into Goodell. And she purposefully brings it right through the center circle, takes it over to the right side. Tries to feed it down underneath the Sikora, lost the handle, saves it back in, but is picked up by Schmigdahl and fed over to Hoyer. Then to Sturz, drives the baseline, puts it up and in. That's the first 2 points of the half by Fall Creek. Goodell driving down, and she got fouled going in. And I believe the foul's on Sturz. Yes, it is. It's her second. 4th team foul on the Crickets. One thing I'm seeing the Vikings doing is instead of trying to pass to penetrate, they're driving in and drawing the fouls.
Yeah, they are 9 for 10 from the line. Don't want to jinx it, but
yeah, you had to say it, didn't you? Goodell's first shot was good. Second shot on the way. That one's good. 46-40, Fall Creek on top. Nichols into the lineup for Hurlburt. Or check that for Hajdukovic. Sturz with it for the Crickets. Gets it to Schmigdahl, turns around, puts it up off the glass and in. Crickets do a nice job of that, backing the ball in, turning around, and using the glass to bank it home. Shipman driving the baseline, puts it up. No. Rebound by Bovee, puts it up, no good. And quickly down the floor, passes intercepted by Goodell. Goodell coming back down the floor. Pulls up on the right side, gets it out to Bovee, puts up the three, in and out, no good. I think Bovee ought to get a point and a half for that one because it went halfway down. Hewer with it. Hoyer puts it up. It's no good. And we're going to get a blocking foul called on Goodell, I believe. Or no, check that. It's Bovee. So Jasmine Hoyer to go to the line. That's the second foul on Bovee. First shot is up and good. And it's only the first foul on the Vikings in this half. Second shot on the way. That one's also good. Back up to a 10-point lead for the Crickets. 12:30 to go. Goodell with it. To Bovee, long three-pointer off the back of the air, no good. Crickets come away with the rebound. Quickly down the floor to Schmigdahl, and she lays it up and in. Goodell with it at the top of the key. Hands it off to Bovee, drives down the lane, puts it up, and it crawls over and in. 52-42. Driving down, and we're going to get a foul on Goodell. That's the second foul on Goodell, second foul on the Vikings this half. Tum looking to inbound it. Comes back to her, off her foot. She chases it down to Schmigdahl. Stirs, spins in the lane, puts it up and puts it in.
Stirs with 11 points.
Goodell on the dribble. She loses the handle on the ball. Hoyer feeds it to Stirs, who lays it up and puts it in.
Let me correct that. 13 points.
And we want to have a conference about that over on the Viking bench. As score 56-42, Fall Creek is your tune to Viking basketball on NLWN-TV.
Menominee Eye and Optical can help you see the world for the beautiful place it is. Doctors Nicholas and Marianne Comro provide comprehensive and emergency eye care for all, including pediatric and special needs patients. Whether it's examination for glasses to cataract or LASIK care, or diagnosis and management of macular degeneration, and so much more. In addition, Menominee Eye and Optical's experienced opticians will help guide you to the highest quality eyewear for the best value. That's Menominee Eye and Optical, 520 Wilson Avenue in Menominee, where they specialize in quality personalized care for you and your family.
Back here at Colfax. 56-42, Fall Creek with that 14-point lead over the Vikings. 11:34 to go in the game. Vikings have the ball. And Goodell's going to bring it down the floor. She crosses the timeline, feeds it over to the right side to Bovee. Bovee driving down to the baseline, and she got tripped on the way down.
That's going to be four on Kennedy Tum.
And that's foul number 5 on the Crickets this half. Tum goes to take a seat. Eddie Haynes checking in. Shot by Bovee is off the back there, no good. Rebound being tipped around, grabbed by Sikora. Pass into the lanes, no good. Hurlburt puts up a shot, it's no good. And the Crickets come away with it. Quickly down the floor, shot goes up, it's no good. Rebound, put back attempt by Schmigdahl, stripped from her, and here goes Goodell. And they're going to say a foul on the floor as Goodell was trying to go into the layup. And the foul is going to be on Becca Stirs. It's her third. 6th team foul. Because after this, the Vikings will be in the bonus. Goodell with it. Goodell still on the dribble. Feeds it over to Bovey. Bovey, three-pointer in and out, no good. And quickly down come the Crickets to Schmigdahl, puts it up, no good. Rebound by Hurlburt. And down the floor come the Vikings. Goodell leading the way. Gets it over to Bovey on the right side. Bovey drives to the elbow, turns around, puts it up. It's off the glass, no good. Hoyer puts a shot up. It's no good. Schmigdahl with the rebound. We're going to get a whistle and a jump ball call. Possession arrow in favor of the Crickets. Hajdukovic and Nichols checking in for the Vikings for Hurlburt and Bovey. Pass comes in, shot goes up, and she got fouled. That was Doherty putting the shot up. She got fouled immediately. And that's going to be the third foul on Shipman. Shot is up and good by Doherty. So 3 fouls on Sierra Shipman. And the second shot is good. 58-42. Vikings bring the ball down. Nichols with it. Over to Shipman. Getting it out to Sikora. Sikora on the left side. Drives down to the baseline. Spins. She's in a little bit of trouble now. Feeds it off to Goodell. Driving underneath. Puts it up. No good. Hajdukovic puts it back. No good. And the rebound taken down by the Crickets. That was Sloop on the rebound. Gets it over to Hoyer. Hoyer at the top of the key. Feeds it off to Doherty. And then to Haynes. Haynes drives into the lane, puts it up. It's no good. It goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Vikings. Bovey checks back in. The Crickets inbound it, and it goes out of bounds. Eddie Haynes was passing it into Doherty, but Doherty zigged when Haynes thought she would zag, and it went out of bounds. So the Vikings have the ball. 9:28 to go. They feed it over to the right side. Shipman drives, and the ball goes out of bounds. She was falling over as she tried to pass it, and the ball rolled off her fingers a little strangely. So the Crickets have it. Doherty at the top of the key, feeds it over to the left side to Hoyer. Hoyer back out high to Doherty, to Haynes, to Hoyer. Hoyer with a three-pointer on the way, no good. Rebound by Goodell. Goodell at the top of the key, drives into the lane, turns around, puts it up, and it goes in.
14 points for Goodell. 16 points.
44. Hoyer with it on the right side. She's on the right wing. Dribbles to the top of the key, circles around to the left side, feeds it out to the outside. Three-pointer is good. That was by Anna Doherty.
Doherty has 5 points.
Kason Goodell with the ball, backing up. Be careful. She takes it around to the right side to Nichols. Nichols thought about the shot, didn't take it. Or check that that's Sikora. Couldn't tell the difference between a 24 and a 34. Okay. So the ball went out of bounds. Last touch by the Crickets. Vikings inbound it. Goodell with it. High, wide, and right. Takes it to the center circle. Feeds it over to the left side to Shipman. Shipman feeds it underneath to Sikora. Sikora circles around into the lane, puts up the shot. It's no good. Shipman with the rebound. Circles back around. Sikora thought about the three. She's at the free throw line now. Feeds it over to Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic takes it into the lane, turns, feeds it back out to Shipman. Shipman to Bovey. Bovey drives into the lane. And now we're going to get a whistle and a foul. Bodies were flying all over the place out there.
Yeah, Sierra took one from number 22 over there in the corner there. Addie Haynes didn't get called.
Cameron Dahlberg got called for the foul.
Should be 2. Refs are talking if it was bonus or not, but she was in the act of shooting.
Here's the first shot. It's up. No good. Jordan Bovey's second shot is up off the back of the air. No good. And down the floor come the Crickets. They get it out to Doherty. Top of the key over to the left side to Dahlberg. And then to Hoyer. Feeding it down underneath the Sloop, and the shot is up. No good. Goodell brings it down the floor for the Vikings. Stops at the top of the key, then drives down into the lane. Ball gets tipped away, and it's going to be Crickets' ball. So Doherty brings it across the timeline for the Crickets. Gets it over to the left side to Hoyer. Then out to Doherty, puts up the three. No good. Rebound taken down by Goodell. Goodell spins in the lane, puts it up. Got fouled going up. Case and Goodell going to go to the line for 2.
Fouls at number 20.
That's Anna Doherty. It's her second. It's the 8th team foul. And Goodell shooting 2. First one's good. And the second shot on the way. It's good. 61-46. Timeout called by the Vikings. 6:35 to go in regulation time, and you're tuned to Viking basketball on NLWN-TV.
If you have a high deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
We're back here at Colfax High School, where the Vikings are trailing 61-46 to the Fall Creek Crickets, who have the ball. They inbound it. Hoyer with it. Hoyer spins and gets it back over to Stirs. Now Haynes has it. Back out high. This is Hoyer with it. Top of the key. Takes it into the lane, and they call a player control foul on Hoyer. More commonly called charging to those of us old timers.
Yeah, good job by number 44, Claire Hajdukovic, to hold her ground.
The second foul on Hoyer. 9th foul on the Crickets, which means from here out, the Vikings will be in the double bonus. So Bovey with it. Out to Hajdukovic. Over to Goodell. Goodell drives the baseline. Feeds it out to Shipman. Then to Bovey. Three-pointer. She hit the three! Jordan Bovey with a three-pointer.
She has 10 points.
All second half points for her. Dahlberg passed it over to the left side now. Hoyer with it. Back out to Dahlberg at the top of the key. Over to the right side to Stirs. Stirs puts it up, no good. Rebound chased down by Sikora. Goodell brings it down across the floor. Top of the key. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul called on Sikora as Hoyer was taking the ball and Sikora grabbed hold of the shirt and held her back a little bit.
Yeah, good foul there by Sikora. She had to break away and stopped it.
That's defensive holding in football right there.
That's right. It's only her first foul.
It's only the fourth on the Vikings. Stirs with the ball at the top of the key, spins at the free throw line, gives it out to Tum. Then to Hoyer. Hoyer tries to drive the baseline, tries to feed it out to Tum, doesn't make connection, and it's an over and back call against the Crickets. Viking defense shutting off the passing lanes and closing down the baseline that time. Bovey to inbound the ball for the Vikings. And gets it to Goodell. She's between the circles. Feeds it out to Shipman. Shipman drives to the elbow. Back out, high shot is no good. Rebound. Shipman tried to save it, and it bounced on the end line. Tum with the ball. Cross the timeline. Takes it over to the left side. To Hoyer down in the left corner. Pass comes in to Sloop. And then back out to Stirs. To Hoyer. To Tum. To the baseline. And Vikings take the ball away. A lot of people thought that should have been a travel by Stirs. Yours truly included. Goodell with it between the circles for the Vikings. Gets it over to Bovey. Drives into the lane. Back out to Sikora. Then to Bovey. Three-pointer comes up short, but coming away with the ball is Goodell. Goodell drives into the lane, puts a shot up, and it goes in. Cuts the lead to 10. 3:38 to go. And we're getting a timeout called. So with a timeout on the floor, 3:32 to go. It's the Crickets 61, Vikings 51 on NLWN-TV.
If your estate isn't looking quite estate-like, let Midwest Environmental Consultants landscape your estate right up to snuff with installation of retaining walls, brick patios, foundation planting beds, and so much more. Then they'll keep it that way with their expert lawn care service. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your estate the showplace of the neighborhood.
Hi, Crystal here, and I'm one of Santa's elves. I just wanted to remind you to join us from the North Pole on Christmas Eve for the Northern Light Webcasting Network's Christmas gift to you. We will be featuring some of the finest and holiday-themed old-time radio programs from the golden days of radio. These will include Fibber McGee and Molly, The Jack Benny Show, Screen Guild Theater's production of A Christmas in Connecticut, and an episode of The Shadow. So, join us beginning at 7 p.m. Christmas Eve on NLWN-TV and NLWN-2 for the Northern Light Webcasting Network's Christmas gift to you.
Crickets inbound the ball. 3:30 remaining in the game. Crickets up by 10. Tum with it. Feeds it over on the left side, gets it back out high to Hoyer. She's looking to direct some traffic. Tries to dribble into the lane, feeds it out to Stirs. Stirs drives down, they kick it back out. And it's Hoyer with it. Shot goes up, no good. Rebound taken away by the Vikings. Goodell with it. Under 3 minutes to go. Shipman has it. Shipman tries to cut into the lane and got the ball taken away from her. And we get a whistle and a foul being called on Goodell as the shot was no good. That's a third foul on Goodell. Fifth foul on the Vikings. Stirs at the line. First shot is up. It's good. And the second shot is on the way. It rattles around and in. 63-51. Vikings down by a dozen. Pass comes over to Shipman on the near side. Then to Bovey from three. In and out, no good. Hajdukovic to put on offense. She got fouled on the way back up. That foul is going to be on Anna Doherty, I believe.
That's 3. 3 fouls on Doherty.
So Clara Hajdukovic at the line. First shot is up. It's good. Second shot. That one's off the back of the iron. No good. Hoyer with the ball. She brings it down the floor, across the timeline, feeds it to Doherty over in the left corner, who dribbles it back out to Stirs, then to Haynes, and then back out to the top of the key, and then to Hoyer on the near side. Hoyer drives it into the lane, puts a shot up, and it goes in. 65-52.
22 points for Hoyer.
Goodell feeds it over to Bovey, puts up the 3. No. Rebound, chased down by Hajdukovic. They get it off, and going up with the shot is Bovey, and she's going to go to the line for 2. And that's a foul on Tum.
Yeah.
Is that number 5?
It is number 5.
And it is. So Kennedy Tum finishes the game with no points, but 5 fouls. Sophie Schmigdahl checks in for her. Layla Hurlbert in for Hajdukovic. Bovey at the line. First shot is good. Minute 48 to go. Bovey with her second shot. It's on the way. It's off the front of the iron. Schmigdahl gets it over to Hoyer. Hoyer down the floor. Feeds it over to the far side. And now Schmigdahl has it to Hoyer. Hoyer drives down to the baseline, spins, puts it up. It doesn't go. Rebound by Shipman to Goodell. And down the floor comes Goodell. She's at the free throw line, spins, takes it into the lane, lays it up. It doesn't go. And Hoyer comes away with it. Just over a minute remaining. Hoyer hands it off to Stirs, who then gives it to Haynes. Haynes on the left side. Hands it off to Schmigdahl, or check that was Stirs, to Hoyer. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul.
Foul on number 30 for Colfax.
Sarah Shipman, and that's her 4th. That's the 6th foul on the Vikings, which is an important one. Now there's a whistle and a foul.
Number 12.
That's a foul on Bovey, and it's going to put Sturz to the line for the 1-on-1. It's the 3rd foul on Bovey. 45 seconds remaining. First shot is up, and that's good. Dan, you made a prediction about the score that's coming eerily close. Second shot is up and good. 67-53. Goodell picks up the ball. Feeds it over to Shipman. Back to Goodell. Goodell drives into the lane, puts it up. It won't go down. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul on Hajdukovic.
Her 3rd.
We're going for the rebound.
I think. 3rd, yep.
So we'll walk the length of the floor. As Anna Doherty is going to go to the line for the 1-on-1. And the shot is up. It's off the iron, no good. Hajdukovic with the rebound. Vikings coming back down the floor. Goodell on the dribble. Feeds it out to Bovey. Back to Goodell. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul as Goodell tried to penetrate and pass it off, and she got fouled.
That's on
so she's
20.
Or 30.
30.
Fouls on Becca Sturz. It's her 4th. And the shot is up and good by Goodell. Second shot. It's on the way, in and out, no good. Hajdukovic with the rebound, tries to throw it back up, no good. Vikings come away with it. Goodell puts a shot up, it's off the glass. And across the timeline from Poyer. And there's the buzzer, and that's the final score. The Fall Creek Crickets top the Vikings 67-54. And we will have more about this one in Viking postgame. And that'll be coming up right after this timeout on NLWN-TV.
NLWN-TV is once again excited to be your host for Colfax High School girls basketball throughout the 2024 through 2025 season. Our next Viking girls game will be on Tuesday, December 10th, when the Vikings travel to Spring Valley High School to take on the Spring Valley Cardinals. Coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m. with live play-by-play to follow. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on Tuesday, December 10th on NLWN-TV.
NLWN2 is once again excited to be your host for Colfax High School boys basketball throughout the 2024 through 2025 season.
This is what we came here for.
Our next game will be on Tuesday, December 10th, when the Vikings travel to Amory, Wisconsin to take on the Amory Warriors. Coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m. with live play-by-play to follow. That's live Colfax Viking boys basketball on Tuesday, December 10th on NLWN2.
One scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
I'm relying on luck, but who knows if it'll be on my side.
When it comes to disasters and emergencies, it's not a matter of if, but when. Take control. 1. Assess your needs. 2. Make a plan. 3. Engage your support network. Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell.
You have been tuned to Colfax Viking Girls Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. This copyrighted production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and Colfax High School is intended for the enjoyment of the viewing and listening audience. Any broadcast, rebroadcast, or reproduction without the express written consent of the Northern Light Webcasting Network LLC and Colfax High School is prohibited. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Post Game.
In November of 2018, our daughter Jaina passed away. The outpouring of support was unbelievable. Support that we received inspired us to start a foundation called the Jaina Kelly Memorial Foundation. And through that foundation,
we've given back in a lot of different ways, through projects, through different other charities that we've supported. We like to help Humane Association, and the Ronald McDonald House is something that's very near and dear to us. We've also recently, this last year, we actually built a tiny house. It's really exciting to be able to give back in different ways.
To learn more or to help financially, would find us on Facebook or www.janakelly.com.
Time now for Viking postgame, with a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking girls game. And now, Viking postgame.
And we're back here at Colfax High School as the Western Wisconsin Girls High School Basketball Classic is continuing, as that game that's coming up is between the Durand, Arkansas Panthers and the Regis Ramblers. But the Vikings fall to the Fall Creek Crickets tonight by a score of 67-54. Dan, your quick thoughts about that?
Yeah, I thought both teams really were pretty even. It was just kind of like second half transition points there for Fall Creek that got them out to that lead. They had about 5 or 6 easy points out of transition, got them that about a 15-point lead, and then they just held on. Colfax fought back, but they just couldn't make up ground.
And the rim gremlins just wouldn't give the Vikings a break. There were a number of shots that were, I swear, they were 3/4 of the way through and they rattled back out again. And
yeah, they had good looks tonight, and free throws, they went 16 for 20, so that was a lot better than last game. But Fall Creek, they were 15 for 17, so they both, it kind of was a wash for that.
And basically the Crickets weren't missing shots. That turnaround move in the lane would find them an open shot and they'd make it work. Well, we're waiting to see if Coach Serrar comes up today. Dan, why don't you give us a run through on the scoring for tonight's game?
Yeah, here's the scores for the Crickets. They're led by number 24, Sophie Schmigdahl. She had 18 points. Becca Sturz had 17 points. Oh, and I'm way off, sorry. 44 was your highest score. Jasmine Hoyer with 22. And then Mariah Sloop had 2. We had Addie Haynes with 3, and Anna Doherty had 5. For the Vikings, they had a bunch of girls in scoring points. Kaysen Goodell had 21. Jordan Bovey had 12. Sierra Shipman had 18. Bryn Sikora had 24, and Claire Hajdukovic had 1. 67-54. Fall Creek gets the win.
Helps if I turn the mic on. Yeah. Tough break for the Vikings today. Their record gets evened up at 2-2. The loss today, this Fall Creek team is going to make some noise this year. They're going to be something to deal with. They are 3-1 now on the year and have looked really strong in their 3 wins. And
yeah. They really got 3 girls that are a triple threat underneath with Hoyer and Schmickdahl and who is the other one? Mariah Sloop. So teams beware.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough out for an awful lot of teams. And the Vikings really have no reason to hang their head. They played hard today. Couldn't get shots to drop. There were some passes into the lane that Hoyer's 12-foot arms reached out and got a hand on. And I'm only slightly exaggerating that.
Yeah, there was nothing easy underneath for Colfax.
And they did everything the way they were supposed to. It just Fall Creek was ready with an answer, and so that means the Vikings fell by the score of 67-54. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a brief timeout, see if we get Coach Serrar up here. I kind of doubt it, but we're going to see if we do, and we'll check back in just a short moment after this timeout on NLWN-TV.
Oh.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. And how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
So it looks like we won't be getting Coach Serrar tonight, but she's awfully busy with not only the Viking girls, but the helping to run the Western Wisconsin Girls High School Basketball Classic. And so she is a very busy lady and just isn't going to be able to stop up and talk to us tonight. So, Dan, your thoughts about this one?
Yeah, I thought Colfax did a lot better on free throws. That'll be important coming down the road. And it seemed like they did start to gel a little bit now here. And they'll just have to figure it out here in the conference play.
And speaking of conference play, that's going to be coming up on Tuesday when the Viking girls travel over to Spring Valley to take on the Spring Valley Cardinals. In fact, make sure you join us on Tuesday. That's December 10th on NLWN-TV as we bring you the Colfax Viking girls basketball. Vikings will travel to Spring Valley High School to face the Spring Valley Cardinals in a Dun St. Croix Conference matchup. Our coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m., followed by all the live play-by-play action. Also, you can join us for boys basketball also on Tuesday, December 10th. Only it'll be on NLWN2 as we're going to bring you the Viking boys basketball as they travel to Amory High School to take on the Amory Warriors. Our coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40, followed by live play-by-play action. Don't forget to join us on NLWN-TV. And before we get any further into it, we get the birthday girl herself coming up. Right here, Coach. And, hey, that was a hard-fought game.
That was a great battle.
And, you know, the girls don't have anything to hold their head about.
Definitely not. You know, the energy and effort was there, and we started shooting the ball real well, went a little cold. That last about 8 minutes of the first half, you know, that was a tough stretch. But we came out in the second half and decided, you know, to try, you know, do everything we can, and, you know, great effort.
Somebody's got to examine the rims, especially with the end that the Vikings happen to be shooting at those gremlins, which ends at halftime.
Yeah, you know,
because there were several shots
rattled in and out
of the way through, and
absolutely, definitely humbling. You know, that's the game of basketball. It happens sometimes, but next one's in, you just keep shooting.
Yeah, and I felt badly for Jordan.
Yep.
Held scoreless in the first half.
Yep.
She had some really good looks in the second half.
She did.
And it rattled around, and I thought for sure she was nailing the threes, and they rattled right back out again.
They did. You know, good thing she's resilient, you know, keeps her head up with that and just keeps shooting. So.
And that's all you can do.
Yep.
The defense for the Vikings was really good. Fall Creek is a very talented team.
They are. They're tough. They play hard. We can always expect that. Great program there. Jason's a great coach. So, these are the fun ones.
They are. And that Hoyer girl has arms that probably stretch across the gym.
Yeah.
Every time you guys tried to pass it into the lane, she got a hand on it.
Yep. Very long and lanky.
So, all right. Regroup now and get ready for Spring Valley. What do we know?
We're just going to have to play our game and worry about, what we can do. Take good shots, be smart with the ball, look to push the ball a little bit and, just play Colfax basketball.
Well, Coach Kittleson, thank you for joining us today and happy birthday.
Thank you.
And and now she's getting more birthday greetings up here. And to finish up what I was saying, I want to remind you that join us here on NLWN-TV and NLWN-2 for our annual Christmas gift to you, where we bring you some of the finest holiday-themed old-time radio programs. This year, we will be featuring Fibber McGee and Molly, The Jack Benny Show, the Screen Guild Theater's presentation of A Christmas in Connecticut, and an episode of The Shadow. We'll bring you our Christmas gift to you on Christmas Eve, December 24th, at 7 p.m. on both NLWN-TV and NLWN-2. Also coming up on January 6th, the Northern Light Webcasting Network is going to broadcast our 500th event. Be sure to stay tuned for special announcements and special awards for our loyal viewers. That's all coming up on January 6th on the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Tonight's Colfax High School girls basketball game has been brought to you by Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for Western Wisconsin. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology, IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Menominee Eye and Optical, with quality personalized care for you and your family. C&K Construction, concrete experts for the Chippewa Valley. And Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax, comfort food, the way Mom used to make it. Be sure to thank these fine sponsors for bringing you Colfax Viking basketball right here on NLWN-TV. So for Dan Petchow and Cameron Rickoff on the camera, this is Rick Olson. That final score, once again, the Fall Creek Crickets 67 and the Vikings 54. You've been tuned to Viking Postgame on NLWN-TV.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking girls game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.